And we are live. Hey, everybody. Steve Moran here with my good friend, the BTC guru, Doug Yates. How
Hello,
are
hello.
you doing today, Doug?
I'm doing awesome, man. This blockchain, this Bitcoin world is. You wake up every day. It is new stuff's happening, new stuff's revealed. It's exciting, exciting, exciting. In the older days, I used to wake up to just terrible, terrible news. Most of the news out there is just not good.
Yeah, no, not
Most
good
of
at
it
all,
is.
especially when you started with this pandemic and everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think a lot of it is manipulated, but we won't go into that. But it's just not. It's FUD. It's like they're trying to get you down. They're trying to control your mind. And with blockchain and Bitcoin, it's the exact opposite. The news
Yeah.
every day is bright, like I've been telling you. Oh, hey, I got to correct something I said last broadcast. My wife corrected me on it, and I said that I said the future's so bright you got to wear shades. That wasn't a Don Henley song. It was actually a song by Tim Buck 3. It was their only hit.
There
So
you go.
I don't want to give
Gotta give him credit.
misinformation out there. So yeah, this blockchain world, like we were just talking about before we get on the air, is super super exciting. I mean, even if you look at today's news, tax in the United States, taxes are supposed to be raising through the roof, and more regulation and more control. And in the past, it would be depressing, especially as me as a small business guy, you as a small business guy. But now I got a balance. I got something that is it's there's it's like in the I'll use Ghostbusters as a pretty bad example, but this is a good example. You know how Ghostbusters they use the energy, the positive energy of the crowd to conquer the big ghost thing, right? The
Right.
ghost thing was the negative energy getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they use the positive
Right.
energy, and it conquered it. It's like a visual representation of what blockchain is doing for us in the world today.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't think a lot of people really understand, the blockchain and kind of really how it all works. I put together a little video here. It's about 5-6 minutes long, and it kind of explains how the blockchain works and discuss it. Why don't we play that a little bit, and then you and I can kind of talk about it afterwards.
Sounds good.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see if I can find that. Blockchain is unlike any other technology ever developed. Now, I won't fully go into the disruptive mathematical details here, but Bloomberg calls it mind-boggling. Blockchains are one of the greatest tech breakthroughs of all time for 3 reasons. It can be traded faster and with less cost than regular money. It's designed not to be counterfeited or hacked. And no government can devalue it. 70 of the most trusted names in technology and finance are adopting this technology. B of A, Credit Suisse, Wells Fargo, HSBC, Microsoft, Google, JP Morgan Chase, and American Express, just to name a few, along with thousands of others. A combination of decentralization, cryptography, and security means blockchain is the least hackable, destroyable, duplicatable technology ever created. Nor is it owned by any one person, government, or company. Peter Thiel, the founder of PayPal, says this type of technology has the potential to change the world. Here's what makes blockchain so interesting as an investor. It has profit potential unlike anything we've ever seen before. So, for example, you could have purchased coins in NXT's ICO. If you put $250 into NXT's ICO, you would have turned that into $1.6 million in just a few years. These sort of profits are unheard of in IPOs, but investing in an ICOs allows you to tap directly into the technology, so the profits flow back to you at a far higher rate. Let me explain. Stock investors get shares, which generally represent a share of profit. Blockchain investors get coins, which represent a share of the technology. Coin holders are like patent holders on a technology. They profit substantially as the adoption of the technology grows. I liken coin holding to owning a toll booth. You get paid a toll when anybody uses the technology that you own a part of. For example, 3 recent projects. WTC, the Internet of Things blockchain ICO, handed investors profits of 631%. Elix, a lending blockchain ICO, handed investors profit of 1,414%. BNB, a cryptocurrency exchange blockchain, handed investors a profit of 1,421%, all in less than a month. It happened so quickly because people around the globe used the technology. And the coin holders got to collect a big payday. And when new technology rolls out for any type of crypto play, those that catch on can rocket practically overnight. So how do you get involved in coin holding? Well, coin holding is completely different than shareholding. For example, you may have heard about the Ethereum blockchain. It ICO'd in 2014. The Ethereum blockchain is not like any traditional company. It's more of a platform for others to build on top of. Similar to the internet in ways, but for financial transactions. Or you can think of it like a patented technology. Let me explain. Think about Microsoft the company and Microsoft Windows, their most valuable patented technology. Microsoft the company is worth $567 billion. That's huge. But the impact of Windows is so much bigger than that number, and here's why. It's been used to create and build businesses throughout the world. There are over 1.25 billion Windows installations around the world. You could argue that the internet as we know it wouldn't exist without Windows. And if you look at the sheer number of companies that today exist because of Windows, it's staggering. Oracle, SAP, Symantec, Salesforce, Intuit, Adobe, SAS, Autodesk. There are over 700,000 other partner software companies. The economic impact of Windows is much larger than the company Microsoft itself. The total economic impact of the global software market comes to over $300 billion each and every year. Now, I believe the blockchain is the same kind of world-changing platform technology as Microsoft Windows. So by becoming a coin holder in blockchain technology through an ICO, you are essentially giving yourself a chance to get paid every time companies worldwide use it. The tolls on all these roads can flow right back to you, and you can be rewarded with the biggest paydays you've ever seen. That's why Ethereum has returned more in 3 years than Microsoft did in 31 years. It's a technology much like Windows, not just a company like Microsoft. And other blockchain projects developing game-changing blockchains are seeing similar results. Two projects similar to Ethereum, Stratus and Neo, are up 44,399% and 90,550%. Let me show you two quick examples of how blockchain ICOs work. Let's take a look at an example in the peer-to-peer lending market. This alternative to traditional systems matches small lenders with borrowers. Major players include Lending Club and Prosper. Lending Club itself is a $2.5 billion company. But by comparison, the worldwide market for peer-to-peer lending is estimated to grow to $897 billion. Now, would you rather own a share of a stock in Lending Club? Or would you rather own a piece of the technology underlying the entire peer-to-peer lending market? In other words, would you rather get a slice of a $2.5 billion pie or a slice of an $897 billion pie? You know my choice. Let me show you another ICO investment example in a different sector of the financial world, the credit card market. The credit card market generates over $4 trillion in payments every year. Each of the companies involved rake in interest and fees from cardholders, plus transaction fees from businesses. Visa makes $13.8 billion a year. American Express makes $32.1 billion a year. And PayPal makes $10.8 billion a year. Sure, some stock investors have been rewarded slowly over time. But what if you could own a percentage of the volume that flows through the entire market instead? If you'd invested in metal, you could call it the PayPal of crypto. But instead of benefiting from buying stock in the company, you were able to invest in the underlying technology. Soon after the metal coins started trading, your position would have rocketed 5,045%, making you more in 2 weeks than you probably make in 2 years. Don't worry, there are other opportunities as good as these or better coming up. In this market, you only need to make the right decision once to change your life. So, I think you'd agree from the evidence I've presented that in today's world, you can make way more money with digital currencies than you can in the stock market, can't you? Hey.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You know, it's a good example. I'll throw it to you right back just real quick. It's a good example of it's the paradigm shift. This is the new way that we're going to be financially and operationally conducting our businesses and now and into the future.
Yeah, and it's what's really interesting about this too is that if you think about it, all of the fortunes up till now, pretty much until this time frame, have all been kind of created above ground, right? They've all been based on things created in the physical world,
right?
Okay, and now what we've taken all of these things that can be done and to all the components of it, and we're able to it's almost like you have to be looking for it. If you're not really looking for it, you wouldn't even find it,
Yeah, absolutely. And a great example of that is there's a thing called NFTs out there. And we'll probably do a show on them in the future, but just to define what it is simply, it's just the NFT stands for non-functional token. And all it is a unique token that is just one of that's linked to a physical item, and when you buy that token, you own and control that physical item. So right now art is huge. You're reading all over the internet of people buying NFTs of digital art that and it's reselling it and the person owns it. It's going to happen with real estate and everything all over the world. So this is like what you said, that this digital world is linking itself into the physical world, and it's taken over, and it's the future.
Yeah, it's like kind of taking everything, kind of looking at the whole landscape that we have out here and trying to figure out, okay, how do we take this giant infrastructure that was all created, and now we're going to digitize the entire thing, literally, right?
Absolutely. And if you back up a little bit and look at what is commerce, what is money, it is the value of it is our energy, everybody in the world's working energy. Our gross domestic product is our output, our hours, our sweat off our back. And the more you and I have control over that, the more we can direct where it goes and then benefit from it. And that's what blockchain does. It captures our energy, and it will start capturing all the financial energy out there in the world and store it in the blockchain. It's even better than real energy. Like, if you capture electricity and you store it in a battery, you'll lose about 24% every year because the battery loses energy.
Right.
But if you store Bitcoin in your digital battery, it's gaining 24+% every year.
Absolutely. So, absolutely. It's
and also one last thing, I'll throw it back to you. I'm just overexcited today, so I woke up hyped, so this is great. You really got to change your mindset about dollars and all that stuff, and look at buying power. Like you said, I looked at lumber yesterday. A 2x4 is going for like $12, $15. I used to get them for less than $2 when I was remodeling houses. A 2x12 is going for $100. It's gas is going, in California, it's pushing $5.
Right.
So milk's going up, food's going up. So my buying power of fiat dollars is terrible. I'm losing money every time I go to. Hold on, let me turn this off for a second. Every time I go to the store, I'm losing money. But with blockchain and Bitcoin, it's the exact opposite.
Right. Yeah, you're getting something that's continuing to, especially with Bitcoin, because there's never going to be more than 21 million of them. You're going to have little fluctuations here and there, but, at the end of the day, it's going to keep going up and up and up. And, like we talked about with all the money that's coming in right now, I think we talked earlier, you said that you think we're kind of a spring loading effect here where it's getting ready to pop pretty good. Is that what you're thinking? You're muted. Mute.
Okay, sorry about that. I got people knocking on my door and stuff, so
there you go.
Trying to take care of that. Yes, the spring load effect. We talked about it a couple of shows ago about all this institutional money that's coming in the second quarter. Started April 1st. We're 8 days into that. That's money's coming in. In fact, I got some headlines I can read too. That's just on that same thing. There's the second oldest bank in the United States with $3.1 trillion in assets, a State Street Bank. they're moving into crypto. They're starting to trade in crypto, and their goal is to open up an exchange on it. There's a huge developer, Rick Caruso, one of the largest residential and retail properties developer in the world. He announced today that he'll take Bitcoin for lease payments and payments for his real estate. The Sacramento Kings announced that their basketball players could get paid in Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, this is just incredible. There's electric trading funds, which are like mutual funds, that are there's about 100 applications in front of the SEC right now, and some are with Morgan Stanley and Fidelity and TD and all the biggies out there that they want to open funds. They want to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and then sell shares of their funds on that. And those aren't even here yet. That's not part of that trillion. That's going to be.
So what's the difference between that? I mean, a fund like that, it's kind of like probably like a real estate investment trust or something, right? Where
exactly.
But what are you going to say? You can have we're going to have 50 Bitcoins in here.
Right.
I mean, is that an example? You have 50 Bitcoins and everybody's investing and getting a piece of that.
Yeah. So they'll say, hey, we're going to limit this fund to input of $3 billion. We're going to buy as much, coins that we can. Mm-hmm. And then the value, as it goes up, that value is shared amongst all the participants.
There you go.
So yeah, those are starting up every day. And we talked a couple of shows about the one that started in Canada. The guy started in February, and as of the end of March, he had no sells, no outflows, only inflows. which it's completely unheard of in that type of market. Coinbase is an exchange out there. It's actually the largest exchange. Last quarter, they did $1.8 billion in revenue. That's just taking that little teeny fee with people trading.
That's how many. That's how many billions of transactions there are.
Right.
Because that's all their transaction fees are very small, but there's just they make their money like McDonald's, making a small percentage on a large volume. Except again, here we are talking about the blockchain world. This is all being able to be created in the blockchain, and that's how all these transactions are being able to be processed like this, right? If this couldn't be done in the physical environment, the way that the world, the old way, right? It couldn't be done in the old way. It'll only be done in the blockchain. There's no way that you could process that many kinds of transactions in that short a period of time.
Yeah, and it's only getting better. And I'll give one last example of that. As Bitcoin's growing, how they're created is a process called mining, and we could go into that later. But let's just think that's how Bitcoins are found and created. And the miners, they measure how much they're mining in what's called hash rate, and that hash rate now is the biggest it's ever been. And the miners are actually getting their old machines that are really slow, and they're bringing them out because those machines now are being profitable. You can mine on your laptop, you can mine on your phone, you can mine on a PlayStation, an Xbox, and because of the value of Bitcoin right now, it's all being profitable, and it's only getting better. There's a very large fix coming up, not fix, but a enhancement to the Bitcoin blockchain network, and it's called the Taproot upgrade, and it's basically increases the privacy and the efficiency of the Bitcoin and the Bitcoin network. It's only getting better and better. And when people start being paid in Bitcoin, start transacting in Bitcoin, it's just going to get faster and faster and faster. But so let's sum all this up. Why is all this important? Why are we telling you this? It's because the time is now to get in. Your financial goal, and we're not giving you financial advice or anything. It's just you and I, entrepreneurs, talking to you. Should be to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible, either by buying it or earning it or whatever you can, because when Apple and Google and all the biggie
Tesla just came in for $1.5 billion, right?
Right, exactly. And they're buying Bitcoin not to use. You buy Bitcoin to store. So that Bitcoin is basically coming out of circulation. So there's less
it's replacing. Right now they're storing cash. They've got $100 million or whatever the deal is, $1 billion in cash, right?
Yeah.
Now, yeah, they're using it to store, so they're not trading that. They're just going to be accepting Bitcoin, and when they accept Bitcoin, that's just going to keep increasing that $1.5 billion. It's just going to keep making that continue to go up,
and it's going to feed itself. Because just think about it: if Apple puts all of their liquid cash into Bitcoin, which is like you said, it's close to a few $100 billion.
A few hundred billion.
Like we said, if they did that, virtually it'll drive the price up of Bitcoin to who knows where. The sky's the limit on that. But then it'll also make their books look way so much better. Their stock price is even be higher, and it just kind of feeds itself. This Bitcoin energy will feed it in like what Steve was talking about, into the real world, physical world, and into the digital world.
Right.
Just mind-blowing. But the little guy, the small business guy, the entrepreneur, the person just starting out and just learning about Bitcoin, the people that we're talking to, it's super simple to get involved with. We talked about it last thing, get a Cash App, open a wallet, go buy some Bitcoin, get a couple $100 of Bitcoin just to get your feet wet. We can show you how to learn more about it, and how you can, as you're learning, you can earn more Bitcoin, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Doug and I will be here Monday through Friday, typically about 8:00 Pacific time. If you have questions, give us the questions. We'll do our best to answer those questions for you. If you've got some other input, please, if you like the content, please share it with others. And anything else you want to add for today, Doug?
No, just have an awesome weekend. I'm going to have a great weekend.
Me too. It's Masters weekend. I'm a golfer, so I'm going to be watching the Masters this weekend. Hopefully that's going to be fun.
Who's your guy? Who's your guy at the Masters?
I've got a few of them. I've kind of parlayed a few picks here. So,
nice. Okay,
I'll be watching with a lot of interest this week. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for watching, and we'll be back again Monday, 8:00. And you tell your friends, bring some people, and let's start earning some Bitcoin and learning about it and making some money together. See ya.
Absolutely.